All right, so I'm going to edit this photo and just a couple of things about it. Um, I really like her pose and expression here. Very moody. I mean, obviously still beautiful. Everything about her is beautiful, but the way the hair is going down, just hanging down, and just her expression here and her eyes being closed. I think she might be just looking down actually, but either way, it looks like her eyes are closed. And yeah, I just thought that this was a really artistic moment. So I'm going to edit it. I've been doing these edits and making them kind of in painterly style. So here's an example. Let me switch over here. So this kind of thing where you have a darker background and a little moodier. I think I accidentally opened these up twice. Okay. So, yeah. So liquify, retouch, separate aesthetic. So I'm going to duplicate the background and just make some changes here with the liquify. I'm going to run this retouch for me on the face. Heal and dodge and burn. It's a very nice tool to use. I'm going to go ahead and run frequency separation as well, just to clean up this remainder. Probably start with 7. Whoa. My goodness. right, we'll run frequency separation again for the body this time. Whoa. All right, and I'm not going to actually do the separate step. There's two reasons to do the separate step. So you have a layer mask of the model, and then which also comes in handy later if you need to put up guardrails so that you can work on the model separately from the background. And then the other reason is it lets you work on the background. Well, I'm going to do that, but I'm just going to not do the select and mask separate procedure. I'm just going to duplicate the layer and then use quick selection tool, select my subject. And the select subject in Photoshop is good. It's really good. So in this case, what I would normally do is open this in select and mask and then refine the selection. And it's just kind of, for this one, I don't think it's necessary. So all I'm going to do, like I said, is I selected the subject, and then I'm going to create a curves, and now I got my mask. It probably needs to be fixed here and there, what you can see right there, in fact. So let's fix that. Let's see if it'll let me. Cool. I'm going to try to get in here real tight and black this out. Cool. All right. So I'm going to change the color of the background by just introducing a solid color adjustment layer. And we're going to go to red. Let's go to orangish and get a brown orange color like so. And then we're going to change that to soft light. And then with our mask, we can, I think it's option. Let me see here. Yes, option, drag the layer, or this mask, from here to here, and it makes a duplicate of it, so it's very convenient. Now, obviously, that doesn't work. We don't want her to have that. We're going for the background, so we're just simply invert it by hitting Command-I. Okay. Now, there's areas here that we have to fix, but that's how you change the color of a background. At least that's the way that I do it. The color of the muslin. So, yeah, let's go ahead and fix those areas. White brush. And we are officially kind of changing the color of the hair, but I'm not really worried about it. It's not making a huge difference, and it actually kind of burns a little bit, the hair, which adds shadow, which is nice, so I'm not worried about it. I'm going to fix the fingers. I'm spilling over on the fingers here a little bit. I'm going to go fix that in just a second after I get done. Okay, let's fix the fingers. So I'm switching to black and just taking out the color around the fingers. I could actually leave it. It's not really that bad. It's not that bad. But a lot of this, sometimes technique is important. These details are important. Oop. Okay, let's double check it. Yeah. Cool, that's fine. That is fine. All right. Now, one thing I noticed is the color of her hands is not matching the color of the rest of her body, and same on this hand. So one thing we can do is create a new layer. I'm going to make a color adjustment, change it to color, change the blending mode to color on this layer. Go to your brush, change it to hue. Okay, and then we're going to fix this color by selecting, by holding Option, and you get the the eyedropper tool, and we're going to click this color. I'm going to make sure my flow is down low, and I'm going to introduce that color to these hands so that they match a little more her skin color. Bring my flow up a little bit. And you can definitely see a difference. We're going to do the same thing over here. That one's a little different. Let's check. It's coming out yellow over here. Let me bring this all the way up and take a look. Yeah, that's coming out almost yellow. So let's see. Get more of a red. There we go. Bring the flow back down. And it's still kind of a little yellow. I'm detecting a little bit of yellow there, but that's okay. All right, let's do a before and after. So yeah, we just had pale hands, and actually it could use it a little more on her palm as well. That's actually worse. So let's see if we can fix that. There we go. Too much. I think one swipe will do it. There we go. Alrighty, so now there's a little bit of distinction between the model and the background, so we want to reduce that. And there's a variety of ways that we can do it, but I'm going to start by actually, I'm going to start using this curves here that I created. And what you can do is just bring down the exposure of the model to match the background a little more. So there it looks a little more natural. Here it's very bright and it looks fake-ish because the background isn't affected, or apparently perceivably isn't affected by whatever light is illuminating the model. So it looks kind of fake. Here it works because just the luminosity that's built into the color, the prior color, which is pretty much a gray color, is brighter than this. And so, yeah, it brings a little bit of, it just doesn't look 100% real. So we can bring down the curves of the model here. Another thing we could do is make the background stronger. So let's see if we make the background stronger, how that will work. Or background brighter. See, if we make the background brighter, let's give it a mask. And that looks a little more real. See, so we can do it either by decreasing the exposure of the model or increasing the exposure of the background, and that makes it a little more real. The model's blended nicely into the background here, much better. So now we could still go back and do this. This looks realistic too. It looks like in this situation, it looks like the light may have been illuminating the background a little more, and we were just feathering across her. But I'm going to do something different. What I'm going to do is create a global curve for both the model and the background, and then we can reduce it that way. And then we can bring back the model, re-expose the model. So let's go ahead and do that. Just messing with my screen mode here for a second. No bueno. Let me see what this says again. Oh, okay, by pressing tab. Interesting. All right, that's not working out. So I got to figure out my screen modes. All right, so blah blah blah. Where was I? So yeah, I'm re-exposing the model here. Let's get back to it. Let me put up my guardrails. This is why this is very nice. Is that this is what is this here? I forgot what I did with this or why this is here. Oh, this is the color fix. Yeah, see, that's why you need to label your layers. Color fix hands. And I'm making sure my ordering's correct here. These are all curves. Let's call this global curve. This really isn't doing anything right now. This is just model mask, really. It's just serving as the model mask. Ugh. Okay, global curve. Let's get back to it. Let's put up the guardrails. And we'll re-expose the model here, just the highlights. I feel like this isn't, oh, I need to go to black. That would be helpful. I thought I was going crazy there for a second. All right, so a lot of highlights there. One thing I'm going to do is, this is actually not a global curve. Well, it is a global curve, but it also serves as a mask for the highlights. So I'm duplicating it. I'm going to invert it. I'm going to invert the direction of the curve too. And I can use this to, if I want to stack additional ones, make copies, I can use that to double down on the highlights, like basically strengthen the highlights. So there, let's remove this second copy. I was just demonstrating that. So this is giving it, this is giving it contrast. It's making it look very artistic. So I really like that. I like the effect. So let's take a look. And then this global curve is basically giving shadow to everything outside of the highlights. So everything else is kind of burned. So, all right. So there's a couple other things that we can do. I'm going to switch to my elliptical, and we want to bring attention to the face, the upper body, and the face of the model. So I'm going to create just a vignette, basically. So went ahead and got my elliptical tool, drew my ellipse, and I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to select feather 600 is my go-to, and then I'm going to inverse. All right, and then I'm going to create a new curve. And what we can do is we bring that back. That brings attention to the model right away. It brings attention to her face and upper body very quickly. Another thing you can do to give this portion of the photo a little bit of drama and art is you can bring up on the curve layer, you can bring up this handle, and that gives it a smoky, it's really a matte type of look, but it also makes it look kind of smoky and dreamy. I'm not going to do that right now. Actually, I might bring it up just a little bit like that. But yeah, you can use that to create a really nice artistic effect. Another thing I'm going to do is create a new layer, and I'm going to do what's called sfumato. And this is a painting technique that basically the technique merges colors into one another. You can look up Wikipedia. There's a really nice explanation on what it is and a lot of examples online. It's a painting technique, but yes, we can certainly use it in photography, and I use it basically to reduce the deep blacks that I occasionally get on photos. So this right here is really black. You can also add it as an effect. So if I want to dab right here, then I can add that as an effect, and that looks actually pretty nice. and some of it is bleeding onto the model, bringing her, or illuminating her a little bit. But I'm going to go down to 1 and just kind of paint in. And that's the nice sfumato effect. Now it does have, it is removing contrast. So this is really to your own taste. Do you like a contrasty image? It's perhaps a little more punchy and maybe grabs the attention, or do we want to go more artistic and make it look a little more dreamy? So there's that's totally up to you. But yeah, that's basically it. I'm going to reduce this one up here. Let me I'm on the eraser tool. I'm going to bring my flow down a little bit because I want to reduce this. So it's not as drastic. All right, go back to the brush and let's go ahead and give a little bit up here. Yeah. Let me go ahead and create a mask. On this layer, I'm going to remove the effect on the face that smoky look is giving, just to bring a little more contrast. Oh, that's why. There. Just bringing reintroducing the contrast. Lost a little bit there. Yeah. Let me do a little more over here. Ooh. Not what I wanted. It's funny. I go back and forth with myself all the time when I'm doing these, and actually this kind of, I feel like it needs to have it there. Maybe on her face a little bit too. Oh, we got the mask going. So that's not going to work. Let me turn this off. Yeah, that's way too much. Let me remove that. Go back to my brush. I might end up removing that mask. I think that's good. And there's a little bit of unevenness down here, so let me see if I can even that out a little bit. Cool. I like it. All right, and let's see. I'm going to add a dodge and burn layer. I'm going to sink her cheeks in a little more and maybe add some shadow to her body to give it a little more dimension. So let's go ahead and create a new layer. Then we're going to go to layer, edit and fill. And then 50% gray, click OK. Change the blend mode to soft light, and we're ready to do some dodging. Or sorry, ready to do some burning, not dodging. We could dodge too if we want, but just a little bit of extra oomph to her. All right. Let me see if I can get her booty just a little brighter here. Yeah, just give it a little more dimension. Cool. Let me see. I'm going to add a final layer, I think. Curves, and I call this punch, and it's me just punching the exposure up a little bit. Globally. So it's pretty much, yeah, global across the board. I'm going to reduce the booty light just a little bit. Let's do this. Oh, there we go. Okay, I think we're good to go. Let me call this one punch. Right on. All right, I think we're good. I'm not going to add any special effects to this one like I do in some of my gels. No need. I think it's beautiful the way it is. And that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. On to the next one.